when you started from scratch again in 2008, how did you get, like, that's a lot of money to lose.
What if you shorten the distance of resistance? What if you were able and capable of spending the majority of your day pursuing your potential and only spending minutes and moments worried, guilty, resentful, frustrated, angry, anxious, all the things that get in your way of being successful?
Definitely not difficult. Like, I can tell you, yesterday was just a train wreck for me. Like, I was excited, then I'm down, and then I'm excited, and then I'm down again. It's just like everything that could go wrong went wrong. So what advice do you have for people to get around that?
Well, first of all, have non-negotiable behavior that takes the circumstances out of your day.
What can you tell the audience on the mindset shift?
What the mind can conceive and believe, man can achieve.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the podcast today. We've got David Meltzer on the pod today, and we're going to discuss the difficulties of running a business today. We're going to take a little bit of a tangent from the technology, the marketing, which is what we normally talk about, and get into the mentality and what it requires to actually own and operate a restaurant or any business for that matter. So Dave, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit of who you are, maybe a 1-minute background, and then let's get right into this.
You got it. Well, I graduated law school, made my first $1 million 9 months out of law school, exited to Thomson Reuters in 1995 for $3.4 billion, went up to the Silicon Valley, learned how to raise money, how to deal with technology, raised hundreds of millions of dollars with Amarindo, Texas Pacific, Sequoia, then became CEO of Samsung's data phone division, and then got hired by Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agency in the world, because of my technology and venture background in the early 2000s. Lee Steinberg, who they made the movie Jerry Maguire about, hired me as CEO of that firm. I then started a global sports marketing company with Warren Moon, one of my clients at Lee Steinberg, Hall of Fame quarterback. And then 11 years ago, met Gary Vee and started to build my own media company, TV, movies, podcasts, etc., and have learned from the best in all of those areas. I do coaching, mentoring, teaching, advising. I'm an investor, specifically in the restaurant space. So I built Cali Barbecue, Cali Hospitality in the restaurant space. I work with Shotzi and their restaurant groups, and have worked with some of the biggest franchises and restaurants in the world.
Awesome. So you've done quite a bit. You've made it to the top, and I read somewhere that you lost everything. You restarted from zero all over again. That's a pretty difficult path. But again, most people are stuck running and operating just one business. What advice do you have on how to get through the day-to-day grind of running and operating these businesses? It's definitely not difficult. Like, I can tell you, yesterday was just a train wreck for me. Like, I was excited, then I'm down, and then I'm excited, and then I'm down again. It's just like everything that could go wrong went wrong. So what advice do you have for people to get around that?
Well, first of all, have non-negotiable behavior that takes the circumstances out of your day. So when you realize that 90% of what you need to get done, you can get done no matter what the circumstances are. So number one thing you got to get done is sleep. Number two thing is health. Number three thing is family. Then take care of your finance, faith, by studying time and giving meaning to your time. For the sake of what am I doing this? And that should take about half of your day. Most of it is sleep. And when you make sure that 7 days a week you're taking care of your non-negotiables, now you're just prioritizing what you're doing to interfere with what you want to get done. You see, when we prioritize what's important to us today according to the circumstances, we now maximize the situation, and we realize that it's not just the wisdom that we get from the lessons of the mistakes, setbacks, and failures that happen every single day, but it's how we react to those, how we interfere with ourselves when we get and have a need to be right, a need to be offended, a need to be separate, a need to be inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, and worried, as you experienced yesterday, all the ups and the downs. What if you shorten the distance of resistance? What if you were able and capable of spending the majority of your day pursuing your potential and only spending minutes and moments worried, guilty, resentful, frustrated, angry, anxious, all the things that get in your way of being successful? That's what I teach people. That's what my books are about, to shorten the distance of resistance by using wisdom and faith to get to where we want to be as business owners, especially restaurant owners.
Yeah, because especially these restaurants are so demanding, long hours, thin margins. I'm sure everybody's dealing with that. The labor challenges, dealing with so many employees. It just makes it a brutal operation and a tough business to own and operate. Run us through. You're involved with Napoleon Hill Institute. You've written a couple of books already. You've got a new book that's coming out, and I think a lot of this stuff is focused around mindset. What can you tell the audience on the mindset shift?
Yeah, so my books, I have Connected to Goodness, Unstoppable, Creating the Life You Love, Compassionate Capitalism, Game Time Decision, and at Super Bowl, my new book, Don't Do Business with Dicks, came out. They all deal with the combination of mindset, heart set, and handset. And there's a mathematical equation I want people to realize. I want you to pay attention to what you want, but I want you to align your intention by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing, as Napoleon Hill stated, as chairman of the Napoleon Hill Institute. What the mind can conceive and believe, man can achieve. But only if we pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences that we want, the coinciding of the materialization of what we want, the monetization. Those are man-made constructs. A chair is a man-made construct. Money is a man-made construct. 24 hours is a man-made construct. And if you're not paying attention, focusing in on every day and enjoying it, in a consistent every day, persistent without quit pursuit of what you desire, you'll never get what you desire, or even better.
Got you. So, and actually, for someone who's gone to the top and started over again, how important do you think that mindset was? Like everybody says the second time is easier. Was it easier the second time around?
Of course it is. So I lost over $100 million in 2008. I went bankrupt. I lost my mom's home, even though only reason I wanted to be rich was to buy her a home. And when I had to go tell her I lost her home, and she said to me, "Oh, are you okay?" And I said, "Mom, I don't think you heard me. I lost your home. I lost over $100 million. I went bankrupt." Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need money? I go, "Mom, I don't think you heard me. You need to move." She said, "I heard you, sweetheart. God will protect you." I said, "He's not protecting me. God is punishing me." She said, "Oh no, God doesn't punish. He only protects and promotes and loves and perfects you." I said, "Well, Mom, I don't believe in God." And then my mom said to me, "Oh, sweetheart, you believe in God. You just believe in the wrong God." And so for me, when I hit rock bottom, when I lost everything, I started to search not only for the wisdom of other people that sat in the situation that I wanted to be in, but I started to have faith that I didn't understand how bankruptcy would save my marriage, how bankruptcy would save my life. I didn't understand because the evidence, just like it was for you yesterday in your business, the evidence was contrary to where you wanted to be in your business. But you had the faith to keep on going. You had the faith to keep on utilizing the behaviors that happen so slowly, but then success comes all of a sudden. And this is what makes the second time around, because you have more wisdom and more faith.
Yeah, and I've heard you say like people should align themselves with like people that are above them and like obviously learn. And I think I heard a quote from you that said it's really sad that people are having to learn by actually doing and going through the pain versus learning from the experience of others. And I think that resonates a lot. Like I've taken that to heart, and I've tried to do that as much as possible, so that it's very difficult to learn through somebody else's experience until you touch the oven oven and you burn your hand, you know not to touch it again. But having to go through some of those painful experiences is really difficult. And I agree. Like I'm digging more and more, and it's like if you don't really believe in that, when you go through a day like yesterday, it's like, all right, I'm done. Like you just give up and you shut the doors and you go home. So I'm curious, when you started from scratch again in 2008, how did you get, like, that's a lot of money to lose, that like $100 million, that's a ton, like you've lost everything, and to go and start from zero, that mindset has to be so powerful, and you really got to believe it. And it sounds like maybe initially you didn't believe it. How did that transition come about? How did you go from like, you didn't hear me, we lost everything, to, okay, I'm back on top again?
Yeah, for me, it was not attaching to the outcome. I never said, I will be happy when I make all that money back. I said, I'm going to make as much money as fast as I can for the sake of helping other people and enjoying my life, being healthy, spending time with my family, getting the necessary recovery through sleep. I'm going to have these behaviors that are for the sake of living a happy, healthy, wealthy life, to make more money, help more people, and have more fun. So when I shifted my paradigm to I am happy without the money, I am healthy without the money, I am wealthy without the money, I am worthy without the money, what am I doing to interfere with its potential? And that paradigm shift over the last 18 years has put me into a place where I'm worth more money, help more people, and have more fun. And I'm on this earth to empower other people like you and others to do the same. And if anybody would like, I'm happy to send you my book for free to your community. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Put it in the notes. David means beloved, at D, first initial. Meltzer means servant, at dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. I will sign a book, send it to you, pay for shipping in the book to help you make more money, help more people, and have more fun.
That's amazing. Yeah, just believing in that goal and willing to do that is incredible and very thoughtful of you. What message do you have for these guys that are going through, like entrepreneur in general, just zooming out? What message do you have for them? Like, what should they be focused on for 2026? A lot of shifts are happening. Even like some things are keeping me awake, especially with these AI shifts and changes. This is a monumental change. What advice do you have for somebody that's going through that transition phase and has to make some hard decisions in 2026?
Yeah, well, first of all, take inventory of yourself. Don't worry about all these big changes outside of you, because you can't get outside of you what you're not seeking inside of you. So when you take inventory of yourself, take inventory of your skills, your knowledge, and your desire. Align it with what you think is doing well today, what's stable today, and then worry about what you think is going to be doing well in the future. But you won't find outside of you what you can't seek inside of you. You only limit yourself by the meaning you give the failure, mistakes, setbacks, defining moments, historical relevances that you have. You see, that meaning that you give your past, the failures, setbacks, and mistakes that you made, that's what limits your self-image, and you never will overachieve your own self-image. So I want you to take inventory of self and then go ask for help where you're deficient in your skills, where you're deficient in your knowledge, where you're deficient in your desire. Find people who are sitting in a situation that you want to be in and ask them for help, ask them for directions, and then help someone get to where they want to be, because that's the fastest way to get to where you want to be or better in your restaurant business or any business.
I agree, and I think a lot of people just simply won't ask for help. They're like, "Oh no, he's not going to be able to do that. He's way up ahead of me," and da 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 da. So majority of people will simply won't do it. Either they're procrastinate or they're just afraid to take that first step. And taking that first step is always very difficult. In fact, I learned that lesson from a former marketing director of myself, and she just one day she was so frustrated, and she just threw her hands in the air and is like, "Listen, for me, it is really difficult to take that first step." I'm like, "Great. For me too. So now that we know, how do we resolve that? And today we've made a complete change that, look, just take the first step. Just jump in, start it, do the work, and just focus on day one, and then worry about everything else. Everything else that comes after that first step. So, but yeah, just asking for help and going after that is I think a definite necessity to ensure that you keep that momentum going.
Beautiful.
And I know your new book just came out. So anything that you like, yeah, there you go. It's on the background. So anything that you like to share about the book, give everybody a little bit of a summary of what the book is about.
Yeah, it's about removing toxicity, how to ditch toxicity from your life, and how to make sure you're surrounding yourself with positive influences. And so you've heard the titles of my other books. This title sells. But the real book is about ditching the toxicity, the negativity, the interference, the dis-ease, to allow you to live at ease, because we are all part of an infinite, abundant, unified system of infinite intelligence, infinite intuition, infinite energy, infinite inspiration. This book will teach you to stop interfering with it and ditch that toxicity and surround yourself with positivity.
Interesting. So it sounds like I heard this other thing that's like, sometimes in life, knowing what you don't want is just as important, if not more important, than what you do want. So it sounds like instead of
identifying what you don't want and knowing if it's categorized, is this something that's going to get me to where I want to be or better? Or is this something that's stopping me from getting to where I want to be or better?
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time, David. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I just want to remind people, please reach out and ask me for help. I have 5 minutes for anyone. I'm happy to sign my book, send it to you, pay for shipping, pay for the book. David@dmeltzer.com. Please remember to be more interested than interesting, and be kind to your future self, and do good deeds. God bless everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much.